Hey, it's Melody with Realty Executives Main Street. And, I have loved getting to talk with so many of you this week. Oh my, you have kept my phone ringing and my email full, and that just blesses my heart so much. And I try so hard to answer your questions. And man, you guys have thrown some good ones at me this week. So I want to take just a couple of moments to address some of the questions that I've been asked just this week. So one of the first things that people don't know when they call me and they'll say, "Hey, Melody, I'm really thinking about moving to East Tennessee. What do I need to do first?" Well, the first thing you need to do is talk to a lender. If you are going to take a mortgage out on your home, you're going to need to talk to a lender because even though you think you know what you're going to qualify for, it's always good to have that parameter so that when we start looking at houses virtually or together or in person, you know what those boundaries are. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you is talk to a lender. Find out what kind of loan you're going to get because there's more than one kind. Not all loans are the same. And you'll need to ask, okay, um, what about closing costs? Do I need to pay for my closing costs? Do I need to ask the seller to pay for my closing costs? Because depending on what type of loan you have will depend on how you need to get those closing costs covered. So then that leads to the second question. What are closing costs? Well, closing costs are basically the fees that you bring to closing. And a lot of times that will involve the title search from the title company. They have to do a title to find out if it's clear title. That will involve the fees to have the deeds transferred from the owner's name to your name. That will also involve some lender fees. And then of course the property taxes, those are usually prorated. And so we kind of put those in a big umbrella and we call those closing costs. And again, sometimes if you have a certain type of loan, you will need to get the seller to pay for those closing costs. So you need to ask your lender that. First of all, how much do I qualify for? What type of loan is it? Do I need closing costs paid for? Because as your agent, I need to know that in advance. I need to know how to strategically negotiate that for you because not every seller wants to pay someone's closing costs. So we kind of have to work together as a team to figure that out. So after you've talked to a lender, then hopefully you're going to call me. Okay. And I had somebody say the other day, well, Melody, I don't need a lender. I'm gonna be a cash buyer. That is so awesome. I'm so proud of you. Um, if you are a cash buyer, then we skip the lender step, but we are going to have a conversation about some of the fees that you'll need to pay out of pocket, including the inspection fees. Any inspections that you want are going to be out of pocket. If you want an appraisal, even though you're paying cash, that would be a cost on your behalf. Closing costs, we still need to talk about those title fees, including the tax proration, things of that nature. And then you're going to call me. So when you call me, what I want to know first of all is what's your time frame? Are you looking to buy here next year? Are you looking to buy here next month? What's kind of your plan for that? And so I'm going to ask you about that because that's going to determine then, okay, what's our next plan of action? What do we want to do next? Then I'm going to ask you, okay, do you need to sell a house and use the proceeds from that house to buy here? Because again, that's another strategic thing that we've got to do. We've got to put a few steps in motion before we go out and look at homes. So I need to know that. I'm also going to need to know what area you look in. And sometimes when I get to talk with y'all, you'll say, well, I was thinking about this area, and then I thought about this area, and then I thought about this area. And sweet friends, that is literally like taking a dart and throwing it at a dartboard and hope it gets somewhere on the target. So I highly recommend that you do some research on various areas of East Tennessee before you start looking at houses because you're going to see the topography is different in different areas of the state. You're going to see different styled homes in different parts of the region. And then just the overall culture and things. And so even if you don't know maybe exactly what town you want to be in or what city, maybe at least try to figure out what county you're going to go in. And most real estate agents, we do things by counties. So I know when I talk to you, I will say, okay, kind of what areas are you looking in? And you'll tell me, and I'll be like, okay, it's this county and this county and this county. So that when we start looking at homes virtually together, I can start sending you listings within that county. And you may not know the county off the top of your head, but if you can name a few of the cities, then I can locate that county and then start sending other listings to you. So the next question I'm going to say is, are you coming to visit? Because if you are, do you want to look at homes when you're here visiting? Or if you are not, do you want to look at homes virtually? Or do we want to kind of do where you come in for maybe a couple of days and we look at homes and then you want me to do some virtually? I need to know what your thoughts are in regards to showings. And certain people are like, I'm completely fine doing them virtual. Some people are like, no, I want to put my feet on the ground. I need to know that. I need to know how you work best, what's going to be best for you and your family. And then, so once we've talked, I know your timeline, I know your budget, I know if you're pre-approved and for what kind of loan, or if you're paying cash, or if you need to sell a house. Once we've had a few parameters established, then we go out and look for homes, whether that's virtually or whether that is boots on the ground. And of course, we always want to be respectful to sellers, and we don't want to talk about their home while we're in there because that's not always the best thing to do in this day and age when there's cameras, on Ring doorbells and all over the place. It's better to talk about a property once you have left the property. So we do need to discuss it, but we need to discuss it once we've left the property to know, okay, is this a potential for you to put an offer in? Or is this a home that you want to mark off the list? So we need to discuss that. And one thing to keep note of that I don't think a lot of folks in the public knows is, resources are not always abundant. And so there will be times when there is an expectation for agents to look at 40 houses or maybe 50 houses. And so that as much research as we can do beforehand, before we go to actually look at homes in person, let's try to do as much research as we can together about the property so that we're not wasting each other's resources. We're not wasting each other's time. We're not wasting each other's gas. And so one thing that I would like to start doing is when you find a home, let's look at it on the listing together. Let's get on a Zoom call or a FaceTime or just a phone conversation. Let's talk about the listing, because what I see when I look at a listing and what you see when you look at a listing are two completely different things. Because again, this is my world. This is what I do. So I can tell you some key things when you're looking at a property through a search engine that you might not notice, or you might not know what that means, or just never really noticed it before. And so that way, when we do physically go to look at homes, we are more narrowed. We've got a more focus. We're not just all over the place. If I can help you in any way, if I can answer any questions for you, if you're thinking about moving to East Tennessee, please reach out. I'd be so honored to talk with you. And please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm representing today a little bit, and comment on this video. It will help me to get the word out to even more people. Until next time.